As the population of the earth continues to increase, construction of structures continue to grow higher and higher. Humans have explored underwater construction for many years, and the construction technique already exists for creating underwater structures and underwater buildings. Even in today's world, you see structures like dams built underwater, structures being built in the middle of the ocean, and you begin to wonder, how are these structures built underwater without getting damaged? Well, we are going to see how all this is possible. Underwater construction is a method on how to place the concrete underwater. During the construction of bridges, dams, or any structure where the foundation is most likely to be placed underwater, the underwater construction is used. Now let's take a look at some of the challenges of building underwater. Building on land can be difficult, but building underwater presents even more difficult challenges, especially in places where the depth is considerably high. Now let's take a look at some of these challenges. Finding suitable materials. Many of the materials which are commonly used during construction on land, like wood, are simply not suitable for long-term underwater use. Dealing with water pressure. Both during construction and over the life of a structure, the effect of water pressure plays a very pivotal role, so this can become a challenge when building underwater structure. And finally, managing corrosion. Undersea projects in coastal environments must take into account the corrosive effect of salt water. If the corrosive effect of salt water is not taken into account, then it can become a problem for the structure. But impressively, even with all these challenges, some ancient civilizations still figured out how to overcome these obstacles using adequate materials and simple method of underwater construction to build supporting pillars for bridges over rivers. When building structures in water, materials must be used that can withstand a variety of complications, including water pressure, corrosion, and erosion. The most common material used in underwater construction are concrete, steel, and acrylic glass. For the concrete, these are a special variety of concrete used underwater which is able to set quickly despite the water current in salt water. For the steel, these are steel typically enclosed by concrete, which form a strong structure for underwater buildings. Then finally, for the acrylic glass, these are materials which are resistant to sunlight. They are durable and fairly rigid. Since it is also transparent, acrylic glass is used for underwater windows. So, with the right materials, construction companies are ready to use a variety of construction methods that make it possible to create impressive underwater structures. So, let's take a look at some of the most important underwater construction methods which make it possible to construct structures in the middle of the ocean. We have caissons, cofferdams, driven piles, and off-site building. Let's discuss each one after the other. Caissons. Caissons are watertight structures which can be lowered into the water while preserving a dry environment inside. Inside of the dry interior of an open caisson, workers can dig down in order to reach a solid surface which the caisson will rest upon. Eventually, caissons become part of the foundation of a structure during the construction of a bridge or a dam. While we don't often think of bridges and dams as underwater structures, the truth is that many of their important elements are underwater. So, many massive bridges would not be possible without the large supporting towers which hold up the spans that carry people and automobiles across. For example, the Brooklyn Bridge, which began construction in 1870, used two large caissons in order to dig down to the bedrock and form the foundation of the bridge towers. Although caissons are still used today when constructing underwater structures, their utility is a bit limited. So, because of this, many situations call for the use of cofferdams instead. Now, let's discuss cofferdams. Covered dams are temporary enclosure which allow water to be pumped out, therefore creating a dry environment for the construction. Now, as you can probably tell from the name, covered dams work similarly to dams by preventing the flow of water from a particular area. A fully constructed covered dams looks like a large wall pit with water surrounding it. Covered dams can be created from a variety of materials, including steel and rocks. The most basic type of covered dam is made by simply piling up large amount of dirt, but this type of covered dams often require some kind of reinforcement in order to prevent corrosion. Covered dams can be used to build a variety of structures from wharf and piers to partially or fully submerged buildings. Covered dams are also used in the construction of permanent dams. For instance, if you take a look at the Hoover Dam, before this dam was successfully built, several covered dams were erected to divert water from the Colorado River. So, these are why we use covered dams. Now, let's take a look at driven piles. When building foundational elements underwater, driven piles enable crews to create sturdy structure without having to remove any water at all. Piles which look like long vertical columns can be driven into the ground with the help of a powerful hammer, therefore creating a stable foundation for underwater or overwater structures. You can imagine piles are similar to nails being driven into a piece of wood, except in the case of underwater construction, the piles are being driven into layers of soil or rocks. In underwater construction, piles are most often made of steel, though they have a partially hollow interior. After the piles are placed, a tube is used to fill inside of the pile with concrete, which displaces the water that was previously inside the pile. Concrete is able to set even when surrounded by water, and what remains at the end of this process is a steel reinforced concrete pillars with no water inside. Driven piles are one of the most cost-effective ways to build foundational elements of underwater buildings, which need to be securely attached in place in order to prevent it moving with the water current. For example, driven piles were used to anchor Apple Stony partially submerged store at Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. So, these are some of the uses of driven pile in underwater construction. Now finally, let's take a look at the last one, which is off-site building method. The main goal of underwater construction is to avoid having to actually build underwater. So, as a result of this, one of the most common practices in underwater construction is off-site building. In off-site building, structures are built and assembled off-site, sometimes using modular construction and then transported to the construction site. Sometimes structures or part of a structure are towed by barges, then lowered into place. Some parts are lowered using their own weight, while other pieces are loaded with weight which help them reach the sea floor. And if necessary, the water is then pumped out of a structure after it is lowered into place. One structure that was built in this way is the Utta Inn, a small hotel in Sweden, which was built on shore and later submerged in the middle of a lake. And the hotel entrance is only accessible by boat. Although this method of construction can be very expensive, it is significantly more cost-effective than building directly underwater, which involves complicated tools, skilled drivers, and tremendous risk. So, all these construction methods, caissons, covered dams, driven piles, and off-site building, enable the creation of incredibly beautiful and useful underwater structures. And this is what made it possible to build structures in the middle of the ocean without collapsing. If this video is helpful, you can consider giving this video a like. If you know of any other method which is used for constructing underwater structures, then you can also let us know in the comment section below this video. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Inno Tutorial, in order to get more construction videos like this. And with that being said, you all have a good and a wonderful day. God bless you all. Bye bye.